what day it is. It's Thursday, and that means that it is time for Starve Talk Live. So we are back with another amazing conversation. Amazing conversation. So I can't even wait to dig into this. I went to Jay with this. I'm like, look, we got to talk about this. And he was like, oh, all right, let's do. Y'all know he be game, okay? He be game for whatever your girl be want to do within reason, because I can be a little crazy, okay? But he be game, so I appreciate him for that. So as you guys are coming on to the live stream, y'all know what to do. Come in and tell us hello. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods. How are you? How are you feeling? How's your heart and mind? It's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on in the world. So we just want to make sure that everybody is okay here in I Want Starve Nation. And of course, our folks checking in on the Starve Talk YouTube platform. Welcome. I'm tongue tied. I haven't had my coffee yet. But we're going to get into that in just a second. I'm going to pause for station identification. And I'm going to give Mr. Washington, you know what I'm saying, his moment to, you know what I'm saying, greet the people.
You ain't got to pause. They know what time it is.
They know what time it is.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing? We back. Tamika says she has a barn burner.
I do.
She has a real one.
Hey, Stephen. Stephen says raining in Columbia.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I thought y'all would be. You know what? They did say it's flood warnings out there. But y'all
really?
getting some heat. Yeah, all up and down the East Coast. So yeah, I saw that. So yeah, what's it? Well, y'all? Hey, I see what you're doing. I see you working out there, little bruh. See you working.
Look, who is it? Look at Stephen.
Let me tell you something, man.
Steven, please don't get me started on this
Submersible. That might come up too in the conversation, because I'm just trying to figure out where they find all this money to go find 5 rich people when they can't find no money when somebody needs some food stamps or somebody homeless or whatever the case may be. So I don't get it. They done brought in a couple other countries to help out. It's ridiculous. But there it is. Don't make me get on that soapbox.
I know, because I definitely was thinking about bringing that up. I was like, I'm going to bring that up, but we're gonna get to what we got to get to first. So, y'all tag some people that are in the nation. Share this video out with those that you believe need to be a part of this conversation, because we are talking about something that's very important, near and dear to my heart, to his heart, and that is keeping family business. Okay. When I grew up, my mama would say, what goes on in the house stays in the house. Now, I think we kind of took that in the wrong direction, because there were some things that were happening that wasn't so good, that maybe we should have talked about outside of the house. But it is what it is. But that's what we're talking about on today's Keeping Family Business. And so, just in case you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't been on Instagram or on Facebook, and you've missed these conversations, these videos, these live streams about Russell Simmons as a father that features his ex-wife, Kimora Lee Simmons, and then his 2 daughters, Aoki and Ming. Now, when this first started playing out, so that's what we're talking about on today, of keeping family business.
Hey, Kim.
But we're bringing that into the conversation. Hi, Kim, how are you? We're bringing that into the conversation on today, because I want to talk about this. And I have some very strong opinions about this. And I'm sure Jay does as well. So if you have seen it in the comments, drop a 1 and let us know if you've seen and you know what we're talking about, so we can know, which direction to take this. So if you've seen this playing out on social media with Russell Simmons and his family, y'all go ahead and drop a 1 in the comments. Drop a 1 in the comments if you know what we're talking about. In case you don't, we got some ones coming in. Love it. In case you don't, this is what's happening. So I think it was Sunday. Was it actually Father's Day that this started coming out?
Yep.
So it was actually, how was your Father's Day, by the way?
Father's Day was
Before
chill.
I get into it, how was your Father's Day? Okay, let me like my mama taught me some manners. But that's good. So if you haven't, so what happened was, on Father's Day, a video surfaced of Kimora Lee Simmons, I guess outing Russell Simmons about the treatment that he had been giving to his daughters and to her as a result.
Hey, Jana.
And so what she said was is that, they had been taking care of Russell, that he was broke, that he cut their daughters off financially and was no longer, able to support them, or wasn't supporting them during the time that she was referencing. And then there comes all the tears and all the me and my ex-husband have to take care of him, and to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I
Millions of
like,
dollars.
listen, and I got receipts because I like receipts. And if anybody wants to talk about it, let's get on and talk about it. And then comes the tears and everything else. And I'm sitting here like, really? Is this what we're doing on Father's Day? And then what happens, you guys, is the next thing. Here comes the daughter. I don't know if she's older or younger. The daughter comes and she's crying and she's all these tears and she's been abused and he's been all of these things for her whole life and all of these years to cut her off, and she's having to live with a friend. And it's just so much. So much that I am not one to believe that that is anything that should ever surface on social media, like, period. And I hate that we are in this generation where you can't even have a conversation with somebody because they are going on and on and on about something on social media. So I know you saw the video, right?
Yeah, I saw
As
it.
a father yourself, you've seen all the things that they've said about him. They brought up his sexual assault allegations and all the things. And here we go.
I didn't see that part. Wow, they did.
They were, because it be in the comments.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
Tamika don't need to read the comments.
Yeah.
So it's in
I
the
ain't see that
comments, and
part.
so there's
That's
all these
awesome.
things
Wow.
that he wasn't a good. He's never been a good guy. He's been abusive. He's this and he's that. And I'm like, come on, man. So you saw it. What was your sort of immediate reaction to it?
Well, as a Russell Simmons fan and Kimora, back in those days, and being a person of a certain age in the generation, I was disappointed in Kimora. Um, I don't know what Russ' situation is. Russ has always been hardcore. If you ever watch videos of Russ, Russ can't say 3 words without cursing. you know, um, but Russ seems to be a nice guy, and when I say that, because I don't know him personally, but I've seen where, and I've heard stories of him always willing to help, always giving up the game. So when you listen to a Damon Dash talk about when they got into the clothing industry and they were doing it wrong, how Russell Simmons was the first person to say, "Hey, let me help you do that. Let me show you how to do it." He's have been notorious for partnering with not just white and black people, but white people. He was a big Donald Trump friend and fan prior to the political scenario. Um, he was one of the advocates about teaching us how to eat properly. Always talking about donating, giving up, service. This is how you get to know individuals. I watch the shows that they produced, from Def Comedy Jam to Def Poetry, all the way up to running Russell Simmons, Run's House, Daddy's Girls. Watched all of that, and of course, you can't just dictate who a person is by the stuff that they produce.
Mm-hmm.
However, I know that Kimora Lee Simmons was a model, and models wasn't making as much money as the first black African American major hip hop label owner. You didn't make that much money. You've been married at least 2 other times, if I'm not mistaken, since you divorced Russell Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
But your name is still Kimora Lee Simmons. It ain't Kimora Lee Hansu, Kimora Lee the other person. And so it's a level of respect that need to be tied to that. Now, I'm not telling no female that you need to take abuse from anybody. But we all, like, I heard a quote yesterday that a sister was saying. She said, women know how to cross the line with what they say. Mm-hmm. Guys know how to cross the line with what they do. Mm-hmm. And that woman knew that she was crossing the line saying what she was saying. Mm-hmm. Because, and then the young lady went on to say, y'all strength as women is in the silence of what you don't do. But they know you're trying to hurt somebody when you start to talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When a guy is moving in silence, he's moving in power. When he starts to talk, he's trying to damage either himself or somebody else. Or when he does something, I'm sorry, when he makes actions and not, doing anything. If he stands still, he's in power. He start moving, making moves, he can hurt you. And so I'm talking. We're starting with her first because I don't want to hear I really don't want to hear what she got to say when it comes to that situation because you crossed the line when you started talking about you helping him and he helped you.
And still
everybody's up and down, but that Simmons name, you haven't dropped that yet. Now for the babies, this is a whole different situation.
Yeah.
You guys, both of them, and I would blame their mother a little bit more, but both of them, you have these babies thinking that they have to be in a certain space in life in order for them to be successful. And so she said, I say this because Aoki, I think that's who was talking. Aoki said, I might not ever be able to be a model now. Why not?
Why not? Exactly.
Why not? Because you said your dad was talking to you a certain way. Is he like physically or calling people try to prevent you from being a model? But that's your mother's thinking.
Yeah.
Or you might mess up your career. You're like 22.
Exactly.
How? How? See, the stinking thinking is being put in there in that situation from their mother. Now, again, I don't know if Russell was badgering his girls. That's a problem. Mm-hmm. That is a problem because I want to treat my girls. I have a daughter, but I have like 5 surrogate daughters and like 2 or 3 other goddaughters. So I treat all my daughters the way I want them to expect a young man to treat them. So if he's mistreating them in any way, shape, form, or fashion, that's not right. So don't let me sit here and make you think that that's how I feel about that. Nah, he needs to correct that. But none of that's supposed to be on social media. Mm-hmm. None of it's supposed to be on social media. Like they said, block them. If you want to block them so that you're not talking and say, if you want to talk to me, we need to talk face to face. We need to talk with a mediator. We need to go to counseling. Those options are there for you. And y'all not a family of y'all family of means. So you have the opportunity to go ahead and do these things. Using social media as a space for fixing y'all social problems and social interactions between you and your family is not the right way. And for Kimora to be 40 plus years old, almost 50 years old, and leading and going directly to social media and you wanting receipts and you got receipts and then you talking about all this other stuff with your guy, that is so raggedy.
That's low. Yeah.
That's raggedy. I'm not worried about low blows. I'm like, it's just raggedy. Like you have, if it's that bad, go to the courts, do what you need to do. Get a restraining order. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you need to do. I was watching the show the other day. Kid was his mother left him as a kid. Well, like gave him up for adoption immediately. They found each other later on. He's coming out of prison. She was trying to help him. And he was self-destructing at every turn. But then so he brings her brother in, who happens to be an attorney. And so he's trying to help him out because he's about to go back to jail. And he's like, nah, I'm turning myself in. And he checked her. He checked him. He said, why are you here? Right. If you were going to turn yourself in, why you stop here? You need some type of audience? Nobody stopped you from going to turn yourself in if that's what you were going to do. And so we got to start calling people out. Right. If you are really bad off and he's hurt you mentally or whatever, go through the proper channels. Because social media ain't it. So if you're going to social media, then that's obviously not it. Mm-hmm. You're not really bothered. You want attention. Because that's the only thing social media is going to get you is attention. Right. And that's what that's saying. And the fact that you led your babies into that space, you're not protecting them. Because we are still parents, even after our kids are 18. We are parents for the rest of our life, so we should be protecting our kids. So now you open up these girls' social media timelines to cyberbullying, to people judging them, talking about them, and all that other good stuff or bad stuff. That's not protecting your children in that space. I'm not here to say who's right or wrong far as because I don't know who said what, right. But we do know what happened on social media. And Kimora, you come from a generation where you don't have to deal with your problems on social media. and that sucks.
So Kim says that Russell started it on social media last year. Kimora, I guess she's saying Kimora and the girls didn't respond until last week. He's been posting on Twitter since last year about here. And again, regardless, it's still wrong either way, right? Because it's still going to social media, not talking directly to the person. But I want to go back to two things that you said. One is that once you reach a certain age or once you've dealt with a certain thing, then it is time to you're responsible for yourself. So and it just reminds me of the show Succession, right, where you have a billionaire father and you have kids that walk around that feel a sense of entitlement, where I don't have to put in the work. The mere fact that you were saying, like, because you have the Simmons last name, that's automatically going to open doors for you. So if you aren't able to be a model again, that's a choice that you're making at a young age, which I hope that does not reign true. But those things are it's just a little crazy because, or my father cut me off while I'm in college. Well, how long is he supposed to take? Because even if he was in a regular child support system, that would be the case. Outside of that,
after college, if you in child support, you still got to take care of the kid. You still got to pay while the kids are in college.
Yeah.
But we have to get in the realistic mindset. And
Correct.
Kim, I want you. Hey, Mama, Kim, I want you to tell us some of the stuff that Russell was saying about Kimora. If you still remember it, because I would like to, so it can be even, Steven.
Yeah.
But I think that these kids, like, they get caught up in the wrong situation. Like, maybe Russell Simmons was worth $400 million 20 years ago. Maybe he's worth $5 million now. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he can't afford to give them money at the clip he used to give them. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think he should be looked upon as bad. Like, maybe Kimora was worth $100 million those amount of years ago, and she's not worth the same amount of money. I believe truly that's ultimately what this is about on both sides. I think that Russell, see, your celebrity and your name lasts more longer than your money. Yes. A lot of times.
Yes, yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so now you start to see these kids get older and they think that they're still going to be riding on private jets and they're still doing whatever they're doing and they carrying themselves a certain way. And now the money ain't the same no more. People not buying Fat Farm no more. You know what I'm saying? Fat Farm no longer. Russell Simmons sold Def Jam 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So he's not getting no more money off of Def Jam like that unless they starting to sell. And I mean, when you sell a company, you sell a catalog. So I don't know if he's still making any money off of any of the stuff that he did for the most part. I mean, he got some money, but not at that level. And their mother, same thing. Nobody's checking for Kimora like they was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not making the same amount of money. I don't think they transitioned to still be, 8-figure people like that anymore. They still garner the celebrity, but that's the sucky part of it. And the kids don't understand that because nobody's being realistic and being honest with these babies. Like, it don't stay that way unless you set it up to where you got money coming to you in perpetuity. Then these babies got to get out here and figure it out. Now you can use the name to open up doors that other people wouldn't be able to get through, and I think that you should use it. You were born into it,
right?
So it is what it is. Use your name, but and the influence, but it doesn't mean that your parents had that type of money. Now, I think Kimora, if you had millions of dollars to help him out with businesses, it's because there's a lot of those businesses that he had was helping you and that made you who you are. Because yes, you wasn't a famous model, you were just a good model. Marrying Russell Simmons made you famous. Yeah. You were Kimora, but you wasn't Gigi Hadid now. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't Iman. You know what I mean? You wasn't you were, good. You were great. You were very good at what you did. But you wasn't a household name to, like, with people that's not in the fashion industry knew who you were. You know what I mean? You wasn't in the movies like Tyra Banks, and so you had that wasn't her career until you became Russell Simmons' wife. And like I said, through 2 extra marriages, you're still Simmons. So you understand what the name is. Mm-hmm. You have to teach that to your babies, understand that name. I remember seeing Russell tell his nephew, JoJo, he said, man, you got to use us and use your name. He said, that's what we're here for. But if Russell is saying, hey, and again, if the baby want to go to college, fine, go to college. But if he's saying you shouldn't go, you didn't have to go to college. Why? If you want to be a model, you don't. You don't have to go to college to be a model. It's not a lie, but it's like fathers can't say no or can't disagree, especially if you perceive to have money. But the reality starts with they not making the money they were making before. Neither one of them. And this is where these arguments is probably stemming from, and which sucks. Because if y'all really got friendship, money shouldn't be able to, put y'all in this situation. Y'all should be working together.
So I guess my question really becomes like, ultimately, what's the goal, right? Because if you've been in a situation with the resources and things like that that's been available to you since you have, since for the past 20 years or so, right? So what's the point of this now? Like, really, what's the goal? Do you want more money? Do you want to shame? Do you want to place blame? Like, what's really the outcome? Now, of course, social media, yeah, you become relevant again, you go viral again, people are talking about you again, but that's so short-lived. So outside of that, what's really the goal in this case?
Sometimes that's all they need. They want them 5 minutes. Just give me my 5 minutes. And this just is what it is, and it sucks, but sometimes that's what they want. And that's why I don't like social media from that perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just really troubling to me. Like and maybe that's what's missing is there's no realistic conversations happening in these households. There is no, that you are still a person at the end of the day. There's certain things that you're still going to be responsible for, certain things that you still have to do. You still have a responsibility for your own life and how you live it. Now, yes, we can open the door for you. We can get you in there, but outside of that, the rest of that is up to you. And so, when I see, all of these things happening, it just rubs me the wrong way, because I'm like, this like literally cannot be life, So, and then we're talking about a name and, people using their names and holding on to the names like we were talking about. But I don't want to shift the conversation. So
go ahead.
We were talking about the whole Larsa Pippen conversation where her dating her ex-husband's teammate's son, but her last name is still Pippen. My point is that if you've moved on and if you've decided this is the man you want to be with and you guys are doing joint ventures together, then drop this man's name so you can move on and do something with yourself.
That's what Ike said. Ike said you can go, but the name stays home. The name got my daddy's blood on it.
He would say something like
that's
that.
What Ike said. Ike said she can go. You ain't know her name. Her name Anime Bullock. Her name ain't Turner. Nah, a little humor, but
I'm just like, come on, man. I just don't, and I hate to see it because it's my sisters, it's women, and I just want us to do so much better than what we're doing. I want us to show up better than what we're doing. I want us to set better examples. I want us to be better women, be better human beings. At the end of the day, this is just not it. I just hate it. Absolutely hate it. And I hate the tears and I hate the cries for attention, because I'm like, okay, you're doing all that crying on social media. Now, what are we supposed to do with that?
Look, if
like,
you
see
heard,
what I'm saying? Like,
if you heard, I ain't got no problem with you crying.
Yeah, but you don't need to do it for the gram.
Yeah, it's ways to do that. And again, I get it. These babies, this is what they know. But when you got somebody that's of that age, she knows better. She knows better, but she's definitely clearly doing that for attention, because it's not because she's wrong. It's not because Russell didn't do what she said he did. None of that, because I don't know.
Right.
But if it's that much of a problem, you could have called the authorities. Mm-hmm. You could have got a restraining order. Mm-hmm. You could have went to counseling. You could have did a bunch of things besides go on social media. That's how I feel about it. There's so many other things that could have been done besides that. And so for me, that's where you lose me with that. We gonna, if y'all still got something to comment about that, please bring it in. We're gonna, because it's like a two-parter. We wanted to talk about something else that's crazy going on right now with this submarine thing, and
Y'all.
we just recapping the week, man, and what's been going on. And so for me, if y'all don't know, like 5 millionaires or whoever is out looking for the Titanic. Now, why are we looking for the Titanic? Well, not me, because I ain't gonna put we in there. I ain't French. Um, why are they looking for the Titanic? I don't know. But the problem I have with it is that they keep talking about the amounts of money that's being spent on this rescue mission for these people. And I'm sitting here like, if 5 people get killed in the hood tomorrow, they're not going to put a fourth or a percent of that money into the hood to try to prevent 5 more people from dying. Yeah. But they have called National Guard, the Coast Guard, other countries, lifeguards, right guard,
the Queen's Guard,
and every other damn guard to find these people and spending money. And it stinks. It stinks to high heaven. So help me understand that. Why are we doing this? why is our country moving in this space? You got an idea?
I don't have an idea, but you know what? I think it is. I think it's money. Like you say this all the time, like money only exposes who you are. But I think when you have money, you make weird and dumb decisions. I'm gonna say dumb, right? And I just, I heard before we started doing this live that their oxygen, was running low or about to be depleted. So, you really hate to hear stuff like this.
It's worse than that.
Because in my mind, I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, this did not have to be. Then you have a father who had his 15-year-old son on the submersible. So now potentially there could be loss of life. And I just hate that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you,
well,
I don't know. Is it money?
I heard even more. I mean, it's a thrill. I mean, because when this is a good example of what money looks like, right? Because you make your money, and these people are bored because you can't buy so many cars.
Correct.
And my grandmother said, you only got one ass to sit it in. So you can't drive 15 cars, right? So, but you can buy them. That's fine. And then you've been everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I've been everywhere but the moon. And I've been everywhere but down to the bottom of the ocean. So let's go to the moon. Let's go to the bottom of the ocean. Thrill seeking, because the money hasn't fixed all your problems. The money hasn't solved all your issues. The money hasn't filled the gaps in your heart and in your life. You got to try something different. And so that's what that is. But what I heard, and this bad news, that not only, like, they don't have a ship that can actually get down there, but even if they did, they still got to get them unhooked or whatever from where they might be. Then it takes almost 3 hours to get back to the top. Then you got to get them out of there. It's like so much that's going to have to happen. And it not mention the part that you said about the oxygen. So there that goes. Then so I just don't understand why we dealing with that financially, taking on this type of situation. I'm not saying don't look for these people, please, by all means. But it just gotta go. It gotta match. It gotta make sense. We gotta make it make sense. The math ain't mathing. All right, next topic of this week that bothered me. Oh, this was last week, but coming into this week, we got Donald Trump and we got Hunter Biden.
Oh, I don't know about Hunter.
Okay, so of course we got Donald Trump getting indicted. Mm-hmm. Now, shout out to all my people who might be on here who have criminal backgrounds or been through something in their life and things like that. They said that Donald Trump can still be president, and getting elected president will basically throw out all the stuff he did. And even if it didn't, he's just going to pardon himself. and he's a felon. These are felony charges. Well, I don't know about y'all. I remember not being able to get a job when I graduated from college because I was a felon. I know plenty of friends, family members, everybody who couldn't get jobs, still can't get jobs, having trouble getting jobs because they're felons. And they didn't have classified documents of the highest order sitting in bathrooms and outside on the back porch and everywhere else. But you still telling me that this person, I don't care if it's Donald Trump, I don't care who it is, that a person can still become president with a background and somebody can't work at Walmart with a background? What are we doing here? How is that? How does that work? How does that fit the description of fair and equal treatment? It's not. Now we have Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, who's not going to go to prison for owing a couple $100,000 of taxes, buying a gun illegally, and some dealings he did with China and somebody else. But he's probably going to get probation and all that other good stuff, right? And of course, his dad's the president, so at first chance he can get to pardon him, it's a wrap, right?
Is that not treason?
I guess not. I guess not.
So what we're seeing play out in front of us, of course, is it's deeper than privilege, right? So it's deeper than privilege. They're committing crimes against the country. And you got classified documents, I believe you told me, in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, you gotta see the video. He had it in the bathroom, in storage closets. It was out on the back by the pool deck. It was just classified documents everywhere.
So this country is.
But he's indicted.
I don't even know what to say.
He's indicted. I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's ass backwards, and this is why I say that, because you got people who shoot, cops who shoot people on TV that didn't get indicted. Right. But they indicted the president. So there that goes, right?
Right.
So that's motivation. You're motivated to indict him. And that's all good. Everybody, if you do something wrong, you should be indicted. I'm not bringing nothing up about cops. I'm not saying not about that. I'm just showing you, right? But even if he's convicted, he can still be president.
Because Johnny can't even get a job at the Burger King.
Exactly. You get convicted, you can't be no damn cop.
But you can be president.
But you can be president. You can't work at Walmart. Like, you barely can work at McDonald's.
So what's the reasoning? I mean,
I don't know why that is, but he can still be president if he get convicted of these felony charges.
I'm still looking for the why, though. How is it possible that he can still run for office?
Not just run, he can win.
But what I'm saying is, how is that possible?
Yo, I mean, I think we need
we moved.
Can somebody help us?
We moved past the grab them by the, I'm not gonna say the word thing. So
Shaitan, what's up, Gia?
There is no why. There is no why. It just is. It just is. He can just be president. There's nothing. Literally, there's nothing that can touch or harm him. Literally,
you can't go to the military as a convicted felon. Trust me, I'd have been in there because I damn sure needed the money at one point, right? So you can't go to the military. You can't be a police officer. You can't work for the government, but you can still be the president. The gentleman in New York, the one who falsified his whole life to be there's just one like for he's a Congress or for New York. Oh, no. The Spanish gentleman. Oh my God, they about to line him up because he falsified his he said he went to this college, he did this, he was that, he was all that stuff, and they found out it wasn't true. And he got elected for public office, and now they're again trying to get him to step down. And but this man has indicted, and there's a good chance he might be found guilty, and he can still be president again. I got my own thoughts. We can have the Donald Trump conversation.
Jay, America is like
it's,
this.
it's a
Like
trip.
this system is crazy.
He said he became president by working the electoral college. Like, let me tell you something. The electoral college is a couple hundred years old. We shouldn't even be using that. You know what I'm saying? That's like me rolling up to a photo shoot, you know, with a Polaroid camera, and I'm about to take
Polaroid camera.
Yeah, I'm about to take your pictures. It's gonna roll out like this here, like that's what we've been. That's what we running the country off of. So we making everybody vote, 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 and there it is. And that's the election we want to vote in too, the presidential election. When your dummies should be voting for the people who gonna be right around the corner dealing with your babies and deciding what your baby's gonna eat at school and all that other dumb stuff. Mm-hmm. But you're worried about the presidency, and you won't vote for the person who's gonna be over the school board. You won't go to a school board meeting. Right. So just real dumb stuff. And all the celebrities come out and rock the vote and vote this and vote or die and vote and this. You don't pass gas, you don't vote. Like vote and vote and vote. It's garbage. It's garbage. As my sister says, dumpster juice. Like it's just a sad state of affairs. And this is stuff that pissed me off this week. And something that pissed her off. So
it's nuts because I can't even.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can't even. I don't even like. My brain hurts just thinking about this stuff because I can't. Like, Lord have mercy. Where is the ration? I don't know. So, I don't
even know. So the name of this is S.T.A.R.V.E Talk, and the acronym is Stand Tall and Reclaim Victory Every Day. Mm-hmm. So the question is, how do we stand tall and reclaim victory every day? How do we begin to do this as a people and as a community? And I'm not talking about black or white, this community, period. How do we do this when the game seems to be rigged? How do we play the game the way it's supposed to be played and then still don't get what you're supposed to get at the end of it? If you knew that if you put in all this damn work to get a degree and at the end of you getting all those credits, you're not going to get a degree, you will not do it. And so the same thing, if you knew that playing this game, you still would lose, even though you did everything right, even though you played the game the way it's supposed to be played, you still going to be left hanging. How do you stand tall? How do you stand tall on that? Now, I happen to be a believer, so, God has to come in and mix of that because these people don't give you no reason to really want to stand tall. So it's only a level of faith and belief that can't be explained by human prowess and expertise that makes you stand tall. And then where are you reclaiming the victory? Where? Sometimes we so far behind in the race, it look like we're leading. We look like we're in the lead. But how you reclaim the victory is, one, you understand that you are in a fight. And when are you in that fight? Every day. When you get up every morning and you turn on the news like I do, and you see this garbage, you're a part of the fight. Because you still going to have to figure out how to roll out of that bed, get yourself together, put on a brave face, go and get your babies, inspire them, make sure that they're going to do the best thing that they can do, be the best that they can be for that day. Get yourself together. I like somebody said build community which is amazing, because you have to do that, and you hit it right on the nose, because you got to find yourself in a community of individuals that are talking reality, that are talking truth, speaking truth to power. This is why we have the I Won't Starve Nation. This is why we do this live. This is not something that we're going to pervert and just say we're going to spend time on social media. We all got things to do with our lives. But we got to have a community of individuals that we talk to, because we know what propaganda looks like. We know what the media will spend something for certain situations. We know all of this. We already know it, and we still falling victim to it. So how do we create our own reality that when I go and talk to Tamika on a daily basis, I go get on here and talk to Mother Willa or Gia or anybody that's already still on here, and we're able to talk honestly with each other. We're able to support each other the way we're supposed to be supported. We're not, blowing smoke up each other's behind. We're not lying to our babies. We're actually providing opportunities for our babies. We're giving them second chances, even when the world won't give them a second chance. Because that's the only way that we actually get the victory that we're trying to reclaim every day. That's the only win. It's building your own reality, your own community, your own institutions. One thing I love about the Jewish community, these kids go to the synagogue, and at that same synagogue, they go to school in there. Let me tell you something. They'd be damn fool to send your kids to the school that you go to church at, and they fail. And they get nothing less than A's and B's. That's smart. We can't complain about them. And then you know what they're going to call that other kid that went to that same synagogue, that went to that same school, and that's a lawyer now, and going to say, hey, I want my baby to be at that law school. And guess what they're going to do? Get that baby in that law school. We got to stop worrying about dumb stuff and worry about dumb distractions. This started off with what I would consider as distraction, with what Kimora was doing. Yeah. And again, I'm not here to say what Russell didn't do or did do. What I'm saying is this woman has a lot of followers, which means that's influence. And if you spend your whole years not influencing individuals outside, yeah, I think we back now. I think we lost some. Yeah, got jammed up in there. But yeah, so I want to see Kimora use those millions of followers to talk about being a mother, being motherhood, and being a female entrepreneur, and giving back and all that other stuff. I want that to be the loudest thing. I want to cry about that too. I don't want to, use it for all of that. Otherwise, it's a distraction. And we can't get distracted. When we turn on the news, first thing on the news is these 5 millionaires going to check out the Titanic when there's 5 people in your neighborhood don't know how they're going to eat today. We need to have conversations about that. It's brothers and sisters that's in and out of the penal system, and they can't come out and make a living for themselves and their families. But people that's billionaires can get indicted and still can hold the highest office in the land. These are real problems. And we don't have to deal with them because we can choose to make sure our community don't have to ever deal with that. We don't have to sit there and say, wait for, and please, Tamika M, y'all on here, find me that quote that's in church. They use it in church. They say, one person was waiting on somebody to do this thing, and nobody did it because somebody was waiting on everybody, and everybody didn't do it. It was something like that. It was a quote that's like that. It's an amazing quote. I want to use. I want it on my wall. Find it for me, because this is what we're doing in our community right now. We're waiting on everybody else to do something, and as long as we're waiting on everybody else to do something, nobody does anything. I've talked to friends. I've talked to people, and I'm saying, "Hey, you really love school? We must start a school." It don't take. Oh, that's gonna take. No, it's not. You got 100 Louis Vuitton bags in there. There go your school right there. You got 850 credit. What are we talking about here? Does it have to be, 500 people in the school at first? No, it can be 50. But that means we'll know that those 50 babies will get what they're supposed to get. Then the next year it can be 75. Next year that can be 100. We have a problem with small beginnings, and that's Bible. I think that's Zechariah 10, if I'm not mistaken, where it say don't despise small beginnings. We despise that. We always got to have it all before we make a move. We came to Vegas and we adopted one school, one high school. It's 50. We didn't adopt 50. We adopted one so far. Oh, it's going to be more. But you ain't going to say you caught us not doing nothing. And a lot of times you're sitting on the sideline watching. And if you're watching, that means you're not doing anything. What are you doing? How are you getting your hands dirty for the right reasons? What are you bringing to the table? Like I said, all this information and stuff that we talked about sucked. And we bring it to the nation so that we can get y'all input. We got some comments, Tamika.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Now you good.
So Gia said that we should use our platform for uplifting, not tearing down, which is absolutely correct. M was like, raise our kids up in reality, stop sugarcoating life for them, tell them the truth, building community. All of those things are great. And then I just found the scripture, Zechariah 4:10, despise not small beginnings. And we always say that part, but we don't say this part because that's how we do. For the Lord rejoices to see the work begin.
Got that right.
I love that. Like,
read the whole scripture. Stop using the sound bites for your sermon.
Yes.
Get at them.
For the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. But all of your points, Jay, were just absolutely amazing. I 100% agree. I love the part about building community because, I think that that's what's missing. And also, speaking from an African American community perspective is, we had a certain pride as a people. We did things together. We took pride in working together. We took pride, like we created our own language. Like they were even talking about cornrows in hair, which we've made it something else. But cornrows in hair were actually used to show you how you could escape. It was a pattern. It was showing you around the land and how you can get to where you need to be. Like that dope. Sense of pride, that connection, that wanting to own a theater, wanting to have a grocery store, wanting to, do the gas stations and do all of those things. We don't have that sense of pride anymore. We barely want to talk to each other and share information and share conversation, because then it becomes who are you to tell me what to do? And you're this and you're that. Like we want it to come from a certain person. We did a video, Jay did a video where a good idea can't just be a good idea. It's only a good idea if it comes from a certain person. Like that shit sucks.
Let me tell you something. It's a video and we got to put it. I'm gonna share. We need to share it in the nation. Mm-hmm. We're gonna find and share it in the nation. It's a black brother who was crying. I mean, he was crying, because he was talking about why people are waiting on a celebrity to say that it's okay to do something when there's somebody right around you that knows what you need to know, but you won't accept it from them. It has to come from a celebrity. When I find that video again, it's on Instagram. We go and share it in the nation because it's just like, man, I felt this pain. That brother was crying. This is a big brother. He wasn't crying from he was hurt. He was hurt because that truly is what it is. Like, if you ain't getting it from a certain individual, or and they don't have a certain title, you don't want to hear it. And man, that stinks to high heaven, yo.
But that is
stinks.
Hurtful, right? Can you imagine? Because some people.
Oh, I lived it.
Yeah,
so I can imagine. I lived it.
Come on, look at what you're doing. But I Won't Starve. Like, I believe that I Won't Starve is a message that transcends generations, nations, people's individuals' lives. I absolutely 100% believe in that and believe in the mission and the message behind it. Jay, just imagine if he was doing his life's work, which he's already had these experiences. You devote your life to something. You're standing on the mountaintop and you're shouting. And the people are like, oh, look at him up there. And then they move on. There is no grasping of, wow, you know what? My brother next to me said this. My neighbor just said this. Let me grasp into it. Let me learn more about it at least. Right? Like, let me learn more about it. Let me see how I can help him. What do you need? How can I help you further your message or your platform? Like, we've lost that. And I believe that in order to really turn this situation around, like, forget the world, like, let's just look at ourselves. What can we do? Like, all the examples that we listed in here, all of those things are great and amazing, but it doesn't really mean anything if we don't go out and actually put it to action. Yeah. That's something that I've struggled with, because then, we all can talk a good game, and that's great, but it's about putting it into action. So if you know that somebody's doing something and you can actually join in with them and connect with them, then please, ma'am, please, sir, please do that. Like, please do that. We have to do that. I'm privy, and I hear lots of conversations every single day. But the thing that's missing from those conversations is, what do we do next?
So right. the no solution base.
Yeah.
And no solution.
We need to have solutions. And so, we've started that in here. This nation is a solution. The nation was created during the pandemic when people needed it. People still need it, because guess what? Y'all are still in here with us. And as a matter of fact, we've added more numbers, which is great. So now is, how can we all work together as the nation? Right? Let's start here. This is our community.
Use it. It's 500 plus people in here. Don't sneeze at that. And it's a private group. This is not open to anybody. So it's 500 people in here, and the majority of them, some of them I don't know, but some of them, the ones I do know, are doing well for themselves. They got something going on. They got something to add and bring to the table. If you're not useful, then you're useless. You know what I'm saying? We've all been put on this earth to be used. We just not put here to be misused. So stop thinking about people using you and everything like that. If can't nobody use you, you worthless. The thing that I want to see is that pot that don't look the same as when you bought it, because that means you was using it, right? Yeah. That hammer still glistening and shining. You know what I'm saying? That means you ain't built nothing. You haven't used it to build anything. So you got to be used. Yeah. You got to be a tool for somebody. Just make sure you're using it for the right reasons and you being used properly. That's it. But we got to get past all this dumb stuff. I was talking to a brother today. He's like, oh man, we talking about when people talk behind your back. Like, people are supposed to talk behind your back. It's not realistic for you to be around somebody all the time. You just got two rules. It ain't even two rules, really one rule, but you want everybody to talk behind your back good. You ain't got no problem as long as you hear they said something good. Right. So that ain't a problem. It's you worry about them saying something negative. The one rule is, whatever you say about that person, you should be willing to say it to them. Yes. Or you should have already said it to them. If you're not willing to say it to them, or you haven't already said it to them, then you might as well not say it. But other than that, you're not going to be around nobody every day. I'm not around Gia all the time. But when Gia talk to somebody and she hear what I said about her, she going to smile. But should I have not said that because I wasn't in front of her? You understand what I'm saying? Like, we got to start putting common sense back into the thing, because common sense ain't common. And we got to make that common. Like, so we have to worry about, we got to be used. You got the job and you the only one, your shirt, the only one clean. You ain't do nothing. Everybody else's shirt dirty as hell. You clean. What are you doing? And you ain't the manager. So obviously you ain't doing no work. So everybody got to be used and be prepared to be used. How can somebody use you? How can you add value? What are you bringing to the table? If you can't see that, it's a problem. My measuring stick is the people around me. There's nobody that can spend time with me and say that they haven't grown. And because I know that I'm a good person. I know I add value. Not because I just said so, but is your career better?
Yeah.
And is people on here? Have it been a better situation since you've met me? Like, so, hey man, that's how we do it. So who have you helped today? Who will you help today? You know what I mean? Who will we take this information, this garbage that we were talking about in the beginning, which is news, and we need to talk about it, because we need to talk about it in our own language, in our own community, so that it can be broken down properly, not from a media and propaganda setting and just giving us what they want and then stepping off. But did you get something better out of it than what you would have got off of Channel 12 or NBC, ABC, whoever? I believe you did. And so let's talk. Let's keep the conversations going on how we can be better, how we can better our people. But we're coming up on that time.
Yeah. So I think that that's really a question and a challenge that we should give ourselves every day. Going forward from today is, asking yourself, who can you help today? Right. When we get up in the morning, with the thought of, who can I help today? Right. And so when we do things like that, for those of us that maybe, say our prayers in the morning, do our affirmations in the morning, our positive self-talk, our mirror talk, whatever it is that we're doing to, get our day going, don't leave your home without making sure that question is at the forefront of your mind, is who can I help today? We engage with people every day. It doesn't have to be someone in person. It could be someone on social media that you may have a connection with. It could be an email that you may need to send, or someone that came across your mind that you hadn't thought of in a long time, but all of a sudden they're in your spirit. So you're like, man, let me reach out to them and see, make sure that they are okay, right? Just little signs that come to us during the course of the day. So let that be a challenge that we accept, and that we make sure that we are doing going forward. And then, of course, just remembering, as Jay said, that we are a community that's here for you. We're not just here to be talking heads and to do these live streams once a week. But we really want to have engaging and thought-provoking conversation where we can go deeper and take deeper dives into subjects that are important to us. So if there is something that you want to talk about, you can always slide in my DM, slide in his DM. Let us know. Say, hey Jay, hey Tamika, I came across this is what I think about it. Let's have a discussion about it. We welcome that. We look forward to those opportunities. We want that. If you guys want to join the live stream with us one week, you want to talk about a subject, we are 100% open to that as well. So you just need to let us know what you want to talk about, and then we'll do all the coordinating of the details on the back end. So those are my final thoughts. I'm just thank y'all, again, for showing up for us every week, for being active and engaged members in this community, for sharing your thoughts and your feedback and your own opinions about the subjects and things like that we bring to the table.
Definitely. And if you guys are coming in on a replay, chime in. Kim, you had put something out. I told you, if you find some information, please put it back up. Put it in the chat or in the feed for this video, so that conversation can still keep going. Because we're totally about being fair in this space. So much love to you guys. Enjoy y'all weekend. My people on the East Coast, and it says it's gonna be rainy one, so y'all be careful. I'm out of here. I'm about to go and do some vacationing with and be boot up. But see y'all next week, and I talk back with y'all. Much love. Okay, have a good one.